He missed his open. We had a brand new open. It's stellar. It gives you the proper amount of pop for a man of your stature, man of your caliber. The great John Schneider is with us. How are you, man?
How we doing, football fans?
We're doing good. We're doing good.
Good.
Excited to do this again?
What have you been up to, by the way?
Nothing.
Not much. Is this really loud? Yeah, not much. How about you? Just chilling.
Is it like twice as much work? Is it 3 times as much work? I mean, you're a busy man right now.
Well, I was just telling Dave before we came down here, we're in our draft meetings already. Started on Tuesday.
Wow.
And I literally feel like, we just got off the plane in Arizona that night, and the three of us went across the street and had a beer when we landed. And we've just been going nonstop since then.
What's the biggest change for you now?
Not that I drink beer. That was you two. I was just having water.
Having a lemonade or whatever.
Yes. Forget about it.
But in terms of your GM and now you're president of football operations, we know the title changed. But what?
So no movie lines. I have a new title. We can't do movie lines anymore.
That comes from Pearson, doesn't it? He put the kibosh on it.
Yeah, no movie lines.
No, but what do you do now that you didn't do before?
Honestly, it's just an accountability with the coaches, right? So now the coaches report to me. And in the past, that just wasn't the case. The coaches reported to Pete Carroll, and the two of us reported to ownership, and now coaching reports up through us. And, it's something that, probably 6-7 years ago we did contractually, just because you don't know, if or when Pete was going to retire, So, it was really just a contractual deal. So if Pete was not going to be here at a certain time, it was just like this automatic kick in, and so here we go.
So when did Mike McDonald, our new head coach, show up on your radar? When was it that you started to really notice something about him? Kind of take us through from that until, you had to wait a little bit to hire him for the AFC Championship game.
Well, I think the first thing was going to Michigan, when the news was going on there that, there was somebody, linebacker coach with the Ravens going to work, the brothers felt like they're swapping, teammates or something. But coaches, so that then was like, okay, who is this guy? And we're doing what we do. We're always trying to be on it and see what's going on around the world of football, whether it be college football or XFL, USFL, and obviously the pros. So that's first. That was probably the first time I was like, okay, who is this guy? And yeah, that was.
Who kind of brought him to your attention?
Or
I
think
just on your own?
I don't know, CBS Sports, or I don't know, whoever reported the Michigan thing. I don't know. I was kind of like, wow, this is cool, this guy's. And then going back to then he goes back to the Ravens and they have all the success. And then I think obviously when we played there this year, it was really rough. That was a very rough day, and there aren't a lot of players that are kind of like, who's the coordinator over there? What was that all about? And so I talked to a couple guys after the game that were like, that was impressive. And what just happened. And Mike's talked about it too. We want to play with, so it looks like there's 14 players on the field, and, it felt like 14 players that day.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave and I were speculating, what it was like as you were going around talking to all these coaches and doing these interviews. And we were like, all right, maybe he's got a set of, 10, 15 questions that he asks every single coach. And then you've got a set of unique questions based on who you're talking to.
Mm-hmm.
Is that close at all?
Sure, it is. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, you have a set criteria based on, what you want to get out of the interview. I was really proud of our process. I thought everybody that was involved did a great job. We wanted to include everybody in the building as much as we could. So having the candidates come here was a big deal for us, so that they could experience all the horsepower in this building, and they'd experience the kitchen, they could experience sports science, they could experience the analytics group and the trainers and just the whole group. You see, I left PR out of that, Dave. You see that? You catch that one? Yeah.
Nicely done.
Yeah, thanks.
He looks enthused.
He's falling asleep over there.
Pearson's asleep.
He thought that was hilarious.
But having a we have a standard set of questions we used with our first round of interviews with the Zooms, and then when we brought the guys in, same thing. We adhered to all the regulations of the National Football League, and Mike was a little different with his first interview because we weren't able to speak with him yet. So all the background research that we did, and then being able to speak to the teams that had the opportunity to interview him that week, all our relationships around the league really helped out as well in terms of how they felt about him, what their interview process was like, and so they were, thankfully they were willing to share a lot of information, and when we met with Mike in person, we've talked about quarterbacks, shifting the room and tilting the field, and he did that as soon as as soon as we started interviewing. It was crisp, it was clear, it was fun. He knocked it out of the park. It was about an hour and 20 minutes, and it felt like 20 minutes.
Wow.
That was just the first part. That was before he had to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. What about hiring the assistants? How did that process go? How involved? Are you totally involved in that, or are you guys collaborating?
Yeah, very much collaboration. So we agreed that morning. I think it was a Wednesday or a Thursday, and he came over, and we had the building here. I think you guys have seen it.
Everybody was out front.
Yeah. It was awesome. Bert was hugging up.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was hugging up Steph. We were like, okay, Bert, that's enough.
Let go.
No, it was cool. We had Bert, Chuck was there. We had everybody in the building was all there and welcome and everything. And then we literally walked through. I think they grabbed Steph and they brought her on a tour. And we went upstairs with our group and got on his board, and we had all of our people that it's really like a draft process. It really is.
Yeah.
All the people that we had been talking to and not talking to, but the coaches coaches that we had interviewed and their guys and the guys that we had identified, and then obviously the people that Mike had identified as well. So we literally came through, went upstairs, we started doing that. We riffed on that for probably 2.5 hours, and then because you have to send out slips and permissions and from all his teams and adhere to all the the guidelines with the league office, and we ended up going and grabbing some lunch, and he was like, "Are we gonna sign a contracts, or are we just going on a handshake here?"
Just trust.
Yeah, we're in the nest.
Yeah, that's right.
It's the trust
tree.
The nest.
The tree.
Yeah.
So yeah, we ripped on that right away, and then actually, the first night when he was here, we had 2 Zoom interviews, and so yeah, my involvement is very much like support. I'm here, this is your staff, to give the opinions on everybody that again, all the horsepower that we have in the building and in all of our contacts with the personnel department, all the scouts, everybody with in the pro personnel department and everything, and help with that, and obviously help philosophically, we know this about this guy, this about that guy, and then these are the specific questions you may want to ask, or this is what you may want to think about, and that was with both the coordinators, and then now that the coordinators are involved, it's just easier, I think, for those guys to, and obviously Leslie Frazier, who's amazing, by the way, and just to be able to let those guys kind of go now and make it feel like, hey, this is my staff, and it's going to be a great staff. We're really excited about the group. I know that I haven't had a chance to see the press conference today, but Dave said they did a great job, so I'm really excited about that.
What about just the inexperience at this level? Obviously, he's a first-time head coach, 36 years old, brings in Ryan Grubb, who hasn't coached at the NFL level. Dirty hasn't coached at this level. There's a lot of new. There's a lot of, we don't know what to expect kind of feel. Is that exciting, or kind of apprehension, or how do you feel about that?
No, I think there's a balance there. I think, the first hiring of Coach Frazier is a big deal, right? So to be with Mike and Mike's self-awareness, he knew that, and he wanted that, and that was our first hire. And, just a great sounding board, tons of experience, tons of connections over the years, and a Super Bowl shuffle, by the way. He was on that. Did you know that?
No.
Leslie Frazier, yeah, Super Bowl shuffle.
No kidding.
Yeah, Chicago.
Okay. With the Bears?
Yeah, with the Bears, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, just his knowledge, and then, just, the whole seeing the whole group now, I get it, the youth, but, you watch Coach Grubb. I mean, football's football, and you watch what they're doing at the first level, second level, third level, everything they're doing, and, they did this past year, and past 2 years, I guess, and, he had an opportunity to go to Alabama last year, I believe, and stayed here with Michael and the whole group, and a super talented team, and AD is a guy that's just really, obviously that's Mike's focus. Leslie's a defensive guy as well. AD's a guy that came highly recommended by a number of different people that we interviewed, and so it was like, okay, this is going to be outstanding. And then he crushed his interview. I'm sure you guys have seen. He's got a ton of knowledge, ton of personality, clear thinking. Around corners is a big thing. Edges and around corners. I'm learning that
edges,
right now. Chasing edges.
Yes.
That's the new term,
He said, I like knowing what's around the corner.
Yeah,
Something
like looking
that.
around the corner. I like that. I'm going to start using that stuff a lot more.
Yeah.
Chasing edges.
The only thing
heard
is,
that one a bunch.
The only thing is he talks funny, but other than that was
See,
sometimes the English accent I can't understand.
Can we
I'll
get
let you go there.
walking subtitles for Dave? We'll get somebody holding up a card.
No, I remember when he was on Hard Knocks, I think with the Cowboys. But,
Okay.
But you said that you and Mike McDonald knew a lot of the same people, right?
Yes.
And so how much did that help? And
A ton. Yeah, it really did. Yeah.
Was it like
Did I
on
interrupt you?
pretty much every team, or what kind of guys? I mean, is that kind of how you like? I know that guy. That's how I evaluate him, and what's your evaluation? And they match up, and there you go.
Yeah, I think it's a great question. It's again the relationships over the years and people, and I had a number of people that reached out to me and were like, "Hey, I could see the two of you guys." After the interview process, I can't mention teams, sorry, but teams that whether it was guys that had worked in Baltimore, they're at different places now, or were at Michigan or Georgia, or and then the teams that were looking for head coaches and going through their interview process and were able to interview Mike in that first window. A couple of those teams went offense and may have gone a little bit of a different direction, but everybody was. I had several people just reach out unsolicited and knew that we were still going through the process, and then that we were about a week late, not late, behind, I guess the other clubs, and we're like, I think you're gonna be really impressed with this guy, and I could see your personalities really gelling together well.
One of the things we were talking about is a whole new staff. I mean, you're basically starting from scratch, and we don't know what's going to happen in the draft. We'll see what the team looks like on the roster.
Well, you guys know what's going to happen in the draft, right?
Well, you're going to tell us.
You guys already
that
figured
was
all
our
that
next
out.
question. Who are you going to draft?
Yeah.
But no. But my feeling is, hey, this is a defensive mind in McDonald. I mean, what they did in Baltimore was ridiculous defensively. Yeah. That's where this team really struggled last year. So I feel like there should be some market improvement on defense just with his approach and mindset to it. And if the offense can even just maintain what they were, this should be a better team than they were last year, whereas Dave feels like, well, maybe everything new causes a step back before there's a step forward. How do you view it?
Yeah, I don't feel, like a step back. I think, when you have all these new ideas and this attitudes, the challenge for us, not attitudes, philosophies, right? Ways to teach, schematics, what have you? All the like kind of coach speak and football talk that goes into this. All the football knowledge. I think it's going to be everybody coming together. Of course, it's going to take time. It's going to take time for everybody to get to know each other and that sort of thing. But I think really when you look at it, how can we bring this together and really merge this as quickly as we possibly can? We have. The coaches at this time of the year are usually going through, getting ready for free agency. They're kind of getting some names for draft guys to study, right? So I'm sure there's going to be a little of anxiety from that point of view for the coaching staff. But, hey, look, it's like, hey, we got that right now. We'll get caught up with that later. Let's get this staff together. Let's build this continuity and build this whole philosophy that we're going to be, working through together. And then that'll come together. Now, how fast that, I think based on the open lines of communication, the way it's gone so far, I don't see a lot of hindrances to, what would lead to success on the field. I don't look at it like, and I have been through coaching changes, and so it's like, oh, you got to take steps. I don't feel that. I could see where people would think, well, people are going to have to adjust. Yeah, everybody's got to adjust, but everybody's got to adjust every year, and if you're not adjusting, you're falling behind. You
were talking about how you wanted to get teachers, guys, that can. So, with Mike McDonald, it just seems like we talked to his, I think it was his high school football coach.
Really?
His first coaching job was coaching a freshman team. He was like, 19 or 20, and they had 6 shutouts, and they went 7-0. Really? Yeah. So, I mean, this guy was just made to coach football, it seems.
I totally knew that, by the way.
Yeah.
That wasn't part of the background research. Sorry.
That's what sealed the deal here.
Our producer, Mike Lefko, got on it, man.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, but no, it just seems like he just has a knack, and like you said, you wanted teachers, you wanted guys that can explain the game, and then even the way he explained it, he was like, we have these concepts that you can master, and then we're going to fold in other, or maybe wrinkle. I can't remember the word he used, but that was pretty impressive, and it just seems like this guy is just, and he's only 36 years old.
Yeah, 36 going on 60. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I just that was.
We interviewed a coach. It's a friend of mine. It was great. I said, you're really going to like this guy. He's 36 with the maturity of a 60-year-old. He goes, great. I'm turning 60 next month, and I feel like have the maturity of a 36-year-old.
That balances
He's like, we're going to be a great fit.
Yeah.
We're going to be a great fit. No, the best teachers, learn the learners. And so he's able to express his thoughts in a very clear, concise manner, and you could tell the type of teacher he is. And so I think, when we sat there that day, the first time, when we spent time together and interviewing him, you can feel a very like steely-eyed seriousness. You can feel a big football brain, but you can also feel like a fun silliness, like a relatability, and you can tell he's got an empathy level for people, so he can kind of dive into like how you're feeling and what you're thinking, and ask. He knows like the questions to ask back, which I think is really, really important. And obviously, we're getting into different generations of people and learners, and how people are understanding the game, and they've grown up playing Madden football, and they look at the game differently than the three of us did growing up playing, and I think it's important that and we learned that it's one of the things we learned throughout the process, the way different people teach and the different tools they use to teach these guys.
Well, one of the other things we were talking about, and we got a ton of time to talk about the draft, but just being in the position you're in now, how different is it going to be? Because we speculate.
I'm caught up. Yeah, no, I'm getting caught up. You mean, do I feel behind right now?
Well, no. Just in terms of before, you and Pete were a team, and it's hard from the outside to determine. All right, is that a John pick? Is that a Pete pick? Did they butt heads, or they're in lockstep on this guy?
Yeah, nothing's changed there.
So
it's going to be a Seahawk pick. Yeah.
So it won't look any different to the fans on the outside now that you're not really sharing that duty the way you did before, I guess, is the question. How different will it look?
Yeah, see, I disagree with that. We always shared that duty. We never felt like, okay, it's my guy or your guy. You know what I mean? Like that was never, it was never like that. I heard something this morning where it was like, I forget what I was listening to. And they were like, well, Gino was really Pete's guy or something like, nah. Every time they come in the building, they're our guy.
Right.
Like that's never been an issue, and I don't see that going forward at all. At the end of the day, you do have to like make a decision.
Right.
And so, and Pete was, while I understand what you're saying, like from a
now the buck stops with you.
Contractual standpoint, yes. Now the buck, yes, you're right. And the difference there really truly is like, okay, well, are we still making the best decision for the Seahawks? And that's what guides us all the time. And you're never ever, you guys have heard me at nauseum say this, like you're never ever going to give a coaching staff a player that they don't want. Otherwise, they're not going to teach him. They're not going to invest in him. And that's just human nature, I think. It's like, are you not listening to me? You know what I mean? Do you not understand my point of view on this player? And if not, Pete was great at saying, "Hey, let's sit down and study it again, or let's figure it back out, or figure it out again, or like let's start fresh, or how we do it with him." Mm-hmm. The same way, like, "Hey, Pete, you're not seeing this right," and he'd be like, "Hey, Johnny, we gotta go back and do another deep dive." We'd say all the time, I'm so done with deep dives right now, brother. Like, how much deeper can we possibly go? But okay, we'll go for it, and we always would, and we figured stuff out, and I've said the same thing to Mike as well. Like, at the end of the day, we're going to figure this stuff out, and it's going to be what's best for the Seahawks, no matter what.
Hey, so you got a Harbaugh here. I thought he said one of the better things today in the press conference. Jay did. He said, he saw how rich his grandfather and his father and his uncle, how rich their lives were. Being in football,
Yeah.
and what a cool industry it is, and all that. But tell us a little bit about Ryan Grubb and that process of getting him hired.
Oh,
and how
yeah.
that went.
Yeah, what's the movie line? Look at the big brain on Bob. Yeah, that's what you feel like. That's what you feel like with him.
Yeah, really?
You're like, whoa, okay, this guy's got it going on. He's no, like, real active brain, real quick. Extremely intelligent. Knows what he wants, but has really come up like kind of like that Midwest Iowa, like self-made, figured things out at different levels. One where wherever he's been, really been able to figure out what he has to work with, and then like I said earlier, football is football, and he just has literally worked through it. So, people have said in here at Washington, well, they don't run the ball well. Actually, their time of possession was massive, and yeah, they did run the ball pretty damn well.
Yeah.
And by the way, they have 5 guys that could play receiver in the National Football League or something crazy like that. So they were using their tools like we'd be questioning them if they didn't use their tools.